All right. So that was Elena in all of her glory. So it's, as you guys always know, it's that weekly time to review her kit. And so you guys just saw Elena, who is amazing. And we're going to talk about her. So let's go over this amazing CG global exclusive first unit. Elena is a hybrid attacker. Her chain families are Bolting Strike, Aurora Ray, Stardust Ray, and Disorder. And then we got her TMR, which is Astrea. Attack 150, Magic 130, two-handed weapon for Elena only. Make sure you do know that. And then her STMR is Warrior of the Crystal, attack and magic plus 60, equipment and attack and magic plus 50%, and 25% true double hand accuracy. So we're gonna go over her kit. Now, just so you know, like in this one, there is like a bunch of stuff to cover. Like her kit is really, really big. So I'll try to be going through it as best I can for you guys. And then we'll kind of go from there on it. First off, we got battle. Insight is basically views the enemy info and then breaks them by 55% to attack, defense, magic, and spirit. And we have Blade of the Crystal, which is the Bolting Strike family. 12 times mod. Purifying Slash, hybrid damage, 6 times mod to one enemy. Remove all status effects from one enemy. It's like a finger snap, basically, with some 6 chain. Aquatic Enervation. Decrease water resistance by 50% for 5 turns to one enemy, and add water element to her for 5 turns. Same thing for Electrifying. Blade of the Dawn. So hybrid damage, 8 times mod to all enemies, Aurora Ray. Reset Stance. Cure all status ailments to the caster, and then cure attack, magic, and defense and spirit breaks and stop, and charm to the caster. Wonder how. Okay, so she can cast that while she stopped. Okay. Interesting. Next, we got Blade of the Heavens, which is a hybrid damage, 15 times mod with this, Stardust Raid chaining. And then we have the dual cast of Twilight, which allows you to do all these abilities here. And that will give you access to double casting, freezing enervation, luminous enervation, which is basically the same as Electrifying. And then Aurora Tempest. This is an ice and light hybrid damage, 18 times mod to all enemies, decrease ice and light resistance by 50%, disorder chaining. And then we can go to Starlight. So basically she's got like 2 different stances here. And then that'll allow you to cast these, and also reinforce stance, restore 50% HP by 50% and P by 30% to the caster, and then give 8 to 12 LB crystals, and increase LB flow rate by 200%. And then you can also cast her 7-star cooldown abilities. Way of the Blossom is a 5-turn cooldown available on turn 1. Decrease ice resistance by 75% to all enemies. Mitigate damage taken by 30%. Grant a 1000 HP barrier to all allies. Increase modifier by 8 to Blade of Crystal, Blossom, Frost Hedge, and Blossom Vigilance. And give 40 LB crystals, which would fill her limit burst. That's what she would need. And then Way of the Aurora. Decrease light resistance by 75% to all enemies. Increase attack magic by 250% to the caster. Increase fire, light, ice, and dark resistance by 70% for 3 turns to all allies. And increase the modifier to Aurora Radiant to Might and Aurora Valor. And then Blade of Crystal. And then 40 LB crystals. Then we got Celestial Guidance, decrease ice and light resistance by 75% to all enemies, increase modifier by 6 for 3 turns to all allies to Aurora Tempest. So I think this is if you have like Aurora, like Fravia or or Fravia in your party, you could increase their modifier. And then for her passives, is Unrivaled Swordsmanship, increasing attack magic by 50%, and accuracy by 20% when single wielding. Increase ice and light resistance by 20%. Oh my gosh, sorry. Gifted Heroine. Increase attack magic by 30%. LB fill rate by 50%. Crystal Aegis. Increase defense and spirit by 30%. Increase resistance to petrify by 100%. Light Blessing. Increase HP and MP by 30%. Blind resistance by 100%. Legendary Swordmaster. Attack and magic plus 50%. And then increase attack magic by 50% when single wielding. So you're definitely going to only... She is true double hand. Magic. And attack. Aurora Blossom Arts. Autocast Aurora Blossom Arts to start a battle. And then Sword Adept. Increase attack and magic by 30%. And defense, spirit, and HP and MP by 20% when equipped with the sword. And you get the same thing if you have a greatsword on. Bond of Light. Increase physical magic damage and magic damage against demons and humans by 50%. Increase MP attack and magic by 30% when equipped with a light weapon. 5% MP refresh. Increase resistance to paralyzing of use by 100%. So she's covering a lot of status elements here. It's really nice. And you have Bond of Ice. Increase HP, attack, and magic by 30% when equipped with an ice weapon. Increase HP, MP, defense, and spirit by 30% when equipped with a robe. Physical evasion of 20%. Magical evasion by 20%. Our tribals at the start of every turn. This is if Morgana is in her party. And then if you have her TMR, which you're pretty much going to want to have that on all the time. Increase attack magic by 50%, accuracy by 25% when single wielding. Increase attack, defense, magic, spirit, HP, and MP by 30%. Increase LB damage by 50%. And enable speed of light. Astral Swordman, increase attack, increase equipment attack magic by 50% and accuracy by 25% when single wielding any weapon. Recover 10% MP per turn, 20% spirit. And then Precursor of the Aurora. She's going to get an increased modifier of 8 to Aurora Radiant Might, Aurora Valor, Aurora Tempest, Blade of the Crystal, Blade of the Dawn, Blade of the Heavens, Blossom Frost Hedge, Blossom Vigilance, and Purifying Slash. And then increase in attack and magic by 60% when equipped with the sword, and 30% when equipped with the great sword. Sorry. So next we have is these are conditionals, and there's quite a bit here, so it's going to take me a little bit to kind of muscle through them, but I figured I want to read them for you guys, so you don't have to read it if you want to. You can just kind of listen to me say it. So the first one is activated by Blossom Arts, Aurora Blossom Arts. Enables skills to the caster, Aurora Arts and Blossom Arts. And then activated, these are all activated by, these next ones are by Aurora and Blossom Arts. Enable skill to the caster, Blossom Arts. Enable skill to the caster, Aurora Brilliance, Aurora Radiant Might, Aurora Valor. Increase attack and magic by 150% for 10 turns to the caster. Increase resistance to charm by 100%, 10 turns to the caster. Increase the modifier by 4 to Aurora Tempest, Blade of the Crystal, Blade of the Dawn, Blade of the Heavens. Next we have Blossom Arts. Enable caster Aurora Arts. Enable skills to caster Blossom Frost Hedge, Blossom Regrowth, Blossom Vigilance. Mitigate damage taken by 30% for 10 turns. Increased resistance to stop for 10 turns by 100%. Increase the modifier can't be dispelled to Aurora Tempest, Blade of the Crystal, Blade of the Dawn, Blade of the Heavens. Next one is activated by Aurora Arts, Aurora Valor. Hybrid 10 times mod. Damage to one enemy. Increase attack and magic by 135%. For 3 turns to all allies. Increase fire, ice, light, and dark resistance by 50%. For 3 turns to all allies. Increase modifier by 6 to 6 turns to the caster can't be dispelled. Aurora Radiant Might. Next one is Aurora Radiant Might. Hybrid damage 10 times mod with decreased light resistance of 65%. For 3 turns to all enemies. Increase modifier by 6 to the caster can't be dispelled to Aurora Radiant Might, Aurora Valor, Aurora Tempest, Blade of Crystal, Blade of the Dawn, Blade of the Heavens. Next we got Aurora Brilliance. Cure an attack and magic break and charm to one ally. Increase resistance to attack and magic break and charm by 100% for 5 turns. Then she has a refresh of 250 MP. One-time odds split over 5 turns to one ally. Blossom Vigilance. Hybrid damage 10 times mod to one enemy. Mitigate damage taken by 20%. For 3 turns to all allies. Grant a 500 HP barrier. Increase modifier to Blossom Frost Hedge. Next is Blossom Frost Hedge. 10 times hybrid mod damage. Decrease ice resistance by 65% to all enemies. Increase modifier by 6 to Aurora Tempest, Blade of Crystal, Blade of Dawn, Blade of the Heavens, Blade Frost Hedge, Blade Blossom Vigilance. Then we got Blossom Regrowth, Cure, Defense and Spirit Break, and Stop to one ally. Increase resistance to Defense and Spirit, and Stop resistance by 100%. And then it heals for 10,000 HP with a 25 times mod. Split over 5 turns to one ally. It's pretty nice. Archrival, this is if she has Morgana in the party. Increase physical damage against demons and humans by 100% for 1 turn to the caster. Increase magic damage against demons and humans for 1 turn to the caster. And then here's Speed of Light. This is if you're going to have her TMR equipped. Yeah. So up here. It's going to allow you to cast all these. And then her LB is pretty cool. So it's hybrid damage 45 times mod to all enemies. Increase attack, defense, magic, and spirit by 150% for 3 turns to all allies. Increase modifier by 18 for 3 turns to Aurora Radiant Might, Aurora Valor, Blade of Crystal, Blossom Frost Hedge, Blossom Vigilance. And then increase modifier by 10 to Aurora Tempest and Blade of Dawn and Blade of the Heavens. So she may look a little intimidating to use, but and she can be. She has a lot in her kit. One thing you could do is, you know, you're gonna open up with the basically you want to do this. So I would say you would want to use, I think, Twilight. What was it? Hold on. I had a little thing right here open that I could tell you. Of what you would need to do.
What's going on?
Give me 1 second. Okay. So, turn 1, you want to do Luminous Intervention. Enervation, and then you would want to do Way of the Aurora, and then your second turn you're going to LB, and then after that you're going to do Blade of the Crystal 3 times on turns 3 and 4, and then turn 5 you'd want to do Aurora Arts and then Blade of the Heavens twice. Turn 6 you're going to basically repeat turn 1. Turn 7 you're going to LB again. Turn 8 you're going to do Blade of the Crystal 8 and 9, you're going to do Blade of the Crystal 3 times. And then turn 10, you would do Blade of the Heavens 3 times. So that's like the most optimal rotation. But you could basically, if you wanted to keep it simple, you could do Luminous Innervation, Way of the Aurora, Light of Salvation, Blade of Crystal. And then go into, your Blade of Heavens. And then kind of like rinse and repeat. So I really think she's really, really good. Do you necessarily have to go ham for her? I would say no. If you were lucky enough in a round to get Esther, Xeno, Axar, both of those are going to be really good. They're going to be just fine for you. You don't have to pull for her. And she's pretty easy to gear. She's going to come, I think, with like 250% true double hand right off the bat. So she'd be fairly easy to gear up. And she's going to do a lot of damage. But like I said, you don't have to pull for it, but I'm not going to simply because I have Xeno, I have Axar, I really just don't need another damage dealer. So, but if you got unlimited funds, go for it. Go ham. Like, get yourself some Aurora, get yourself some Elena, because she is awesome and she's kick-ass. Last but not least, we're going to move on to Morgana, who I think is not as great. You got her chaining family absolute 0, Chaos Wave, Disorder, and Bolting Strike. Emperor Signet is going to increase magic by 20%, magic by 30% when equipped with the rod, and Evo magic plus 20%. So that's pretty good for like anyone, not even just her. And then first Nirvana is attack plus 10, magic plus 160, spirit plus 40, and then you have Virtuous Empress, increase attack magic by 25% when dual wielding. That's really good, even for all your other casters. We're going to talk about her kit really quick. So first we got Omniscience. Basically, you scan them. And Glacial Needles is 1.7 times mod ice damage that ignores spirit by 50%, decreases ice by 65%, absolute 0. Then you have Stormwind, which is wind magic damage, 3.4 times mod, decreased wind resistance by 65%, Chaos Wave. Halo Beam is light magic damage, 1.7 times mod, ignore defense of 50%, decrease light resistance by 65%, absolute 0. Then you have Void Blast, dark magic damage, 3.4 times mod to one enemy, decrease dark resistance by 65%, Chaos Wave. Then you have Glistening Ice, ice and light evoke damage. So this is not. This is going to cost you 1 evoke crystal. Tall enemies increase LB fill rate by 100%, absolute 0. And then you have Mirror Arcana. So we click that, you can cast all of these. I was kind of worried about like how you would be able to like triple cast and double cast. Some of these are going to be really hard because they're 2 or 3 evocation orbs. The ones are fine. So you have Arcane Chaos is evoke damage 6 times 100% to 0% ratio to all enemies. So it's really weird. So this doesn't. If you break spirit, it's still if there's spirit or defense is up, evoke damage will go through that. It doesn't have to. You don't have to break it for the damage to go through and to be not mitigated. The other thing to do note is that when you're using evoke damage, killers don't apply. So that's one thing to keep an eye out and make sure that that you're aware of, that when you're doing that, you're not going to get the killer passives are not going to do anything for you, because these are not magic damage attacks. These are evocation damage attacks. Then you got Crystallized Spikes, Ice Evoke damage, 5.5. Increase the modifier to Crystallized Spikes and Glacial Needles, absolute 0. Storm Gale, Wind Evoke damage, cost you 1 Evoke Orb. Increase modifier by 1.5 to Storm Gale and Storm Winds, Chaos Wave. Holy Radiance, Light Evoke damage, 5.5 to one enemy. Increase modifier by 2 to Halo Beam and Halo Radiance, absolute 0. Shadow Whale, Dark Evoke damage to one enemy. Increase modifier by 1.5 to Shadow Whale, Void Blast, Chaos Wave Chaining. Then you have Arcane Blessing. Increase magic and spirit by 150% to the caster and give 3 evocation orbs. Enable skill for 2 turns. Looks like this right here. But if you have her TMR on, you're gonna have this automatically, which is nice. Elemental Enervation, decrease ice, wind, and light resistance and dark resistance by 100% for 3 turns to all enemies. That's a lot of imperils. Jeez. Enable skill for 2 turns. Myriad of Arcana. Arcana Trade. 4 turn cooldown available on turn 1. Increase evocation gauge by 8. I would say you probably would want to open with that so you can like start using her abilities. Unstable Energy. 4 turn cooldown available on turn 1. Evoke damage 25 times 100%. To all enemies, increase magic and spirit by 200% for 3 turns to the caster. Increase modifier by 3 to crystallized ice, Halo Radiance, Shadow Whale, Storm Gale, absolute 0. Bursting Luminosity is light evoke damage, 8 times mod, 100% to all enemies. Increase modifier by 3 to Bursting Luminosity, Disorder Family. And then we have Spectral Cutter. Evoke damage 9 times mod. Increase modifier by 2 for 3 turns to Spectral Cutter, Bolting Strike. And then her passives are she gets a dual wield. Get 40 magic, 40% magic. Evocation 10%. Magic plus 40 when equipped with a rod. Poison resistance to poison, silence, confuse, and petrify by 100%. Increase dark and light resistance by 30%. Increase spirit and MP by 20%, 5% MP refresh. Indomitable Will, increase HP by 30% and MP plus 10%. Increase magic plus 30%, spirit, and then spirit plus 10%. Increase evocation magic by 10%. Increase equipment magic by 50% and spirit by 20% when dual wielding. Chance to counter magic attacks by 40% with energy conversion. Arch rivals, if this thing is if Elena's in the party. Increase magic by 40% and ice and dark resistance by 30% if you have a rod equipped. Then you get 20% defense and spirit when equipped with a rod with a robe. Utopian Throne. Increase evocation magic by 20%, MP plus 20%. Autocast Myriad Arcana, start of battle. HP plus 20%. Empress Supreme, autocast Power Evocation at the start of battle. Increase the modifier to Crystallized Spikes, Holy Radiance, Shadow Whale, Storm Gale. 3 LB crystals. And then next we have these are her conditionals right here. Increase evocation by 1. Increase modifier, and then this one dimensional. Okay. Alright. And then for her LB, it's Arcane Explosion. Evoke magic damage 35 times mod to all enemies. Increase evocation by 5, and then enable Myriad of Arcana for 2 turns. So, I mean, I think she's pretty cool. I'm just not sure, like, how she would work as far as if you paired her up with someone else, how you're going to be able to really get a good proper chain of the good abilities when you only have 10 summoning orbs as your resource. So it's a little tricky. But all in all, I think she's pretty cool. She looks like really cool. If not anything else, like her TMR and STMR are just ridiculously good. Let me know what you guys. That's kind of it on her. I mean, there's not much really else to say about it. This is the only units on this banner. So let me know if you guys are pulling. Leave a comment below if you're not pulling, you're happy, And then remember to always like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate you guys' support. You guys are always awesome. for giving me a few minutes of your time to kind of talk about this stuff. So I'm hoping to be streaming tonight. I'll see how my throat holds up and kind of getting sick this week. So sorry if the video kind of sounds kind of raspy, but I still wanted to get it out there for you guys. Yeah. So I'll see you in the next one, guys, and peace.